Right?
Hey.
I'm like, where's the comments? I can't see it.
We are back, right?
We are
Hi,
live.
everyone. Welcome aboard.
Welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
Yep.
Welcome.
Turn this
Mhm.
down. I want no.
We'll give a second. And
Turn this down.
are joining, give a second. Oh, is that me echoing? Can you guys?
No, that was me. I had my iPad up on YouTube. There we go.
There we go. All right. Well, welcome. So good to have the panel back.
Yes, good to be back.
Good to have
Good to be back.
good to be back. Good to be
Yes,
back.
indeed. Mhm.
I like what we're talking about today. Just so I'll give my client her props without saying her name for helping us with this discussion that we're talking about tonight. But I pray that everyone just comes on the board. We're going to have a really good discussion in the time that we have. Hello, Bunny. I'm sure. Yeah. Welcome. Please share. Use the comments section to participate in what we're talking about today, which is we're doing a mid-year check-in, right?
Yep.
We're halfway through the year already.
Wow.
I can't believe that.
Unbelievable.
I was saying to somebody earlier today, like, is this year more than halfway over?
It's
Oh, yeah.
already halfway done.
Yep.
Seems like it just started.
It
Nope.
seems like it just started. And I keep
Yeah.
seeing these on Facebook. Like I keep clicking on these fall pictures. People keep sending these like get ready for fall. And I'm like, I love it. Just pumpkin spice and
Yeah, the nice sweaters and
Yeah.
hoodies.
yes,
And
sweater weather is on the way. And
Yes.
I love it. But it's also a reminder that the end of the year is going to be here before we know it.
Yeah.
So it's a good time to start checking in and thinking about where we are so far and what we've accomplished, what goals we've set that we've been able to meet, were we intentional, and then like if we are not quite where we would like to be, this is a good time to do a reset and to think about what strategies we can still do, and it's not too late to start again or to reset and to implement new things, and also take the win. So the good things that you've done so far, pat yourself on the back, and encourage yourself to keep going, because I'm sure all of us can think of at least one thing this year that we've accomplished or set out to do that has been going well. So that's where we are.
And there are 5 months left, so it's not. We do still have time left.
We still have time.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was having a conversation with a client, and this is how this came up. And she was sharing with me that she said, Miss Tiff, I really want to do like a check-in because we're halfway through the year, and I think it's important to revisit my goals and where we are so far. And I was like, girl, you just gave me our discussion. So I said, if you're listening, I'm going to give you your prop for helping to give us, some, much needed a discussion that we need to have with everyone. I think is to do a check-in. So yes, can't wait for fall candy corn, Maya. I love you.
Oh Lord, wow. Maya, I liked you.
Me and Maya, man. Woman after my own heart.
Now, pumpkin spice, I'm with you. But candy corn.
Pumpkin spice candy corn is around the corner.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
So we just want to and I want to check in with everybody on the panel to help with this discussion as we talk about like the importance of a reset or a check-in and why we do this, why it's significant. And also the importance of appreciating where we've gone this far, and what are some strategies and tips that we can provide for people on if they're not quite where they are, what are some categories of things that they need to start thinking about, whether it's physical health, whether it's mental health, whether it's financial health at this point, their relationships, and what types of things do we think we need to start checking in at this point? So who wants to start? Like, what are some tools we can, as we're approaching mid-year, what should we be looking at? What should we be focusing on at this point?
For me, I find that I do better. Like I was taking a little moment to look back and say, okay, when's the last time you did X, Y, and Z?
Mm-hmm.
I am better when I am maniacal about having a schedule and writing things down.
Mm-hmm.
Not just having a schedule and writing things down, but I mean putting it in a place where I can see it daily.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I have a whiteboard now that I say, okay, Tuesday, this is what I'm going to do, and I try to
Mm-hmm.
give it a time because I find that if I leave it up to this is what I'm going to get done today and don't
Mm-hmm.
give it a time and don't keep it in front of me, yeah, no, it's not going to happen.
It's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Even down, Reverend Tiffany, even down to, and I know I tell my students this all the time, if I want to read a book a month and the book is 360 pages, I'm that anal where I divide 30 by 360. Okay, you got to read 10 pages a day or whatever that number is.
Okay,
And I try
you
to hold
you
myself
had
accountable to do that.
you had me up
So
until
that will
that
be on
point.
my, yeah, right. And that will be on my whiteboard. 9 pages from Atomic Habits.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
whether it's
That's
4
good.
in the morning, 2 in the
Mhm.
afternoon, 2 at night, whatever the
That's
case may
good.
be, I
Yeah.
try to
Good.
hold myself to that. But I have to
Right.
see
Right.
it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
good. I do the same thing. I think I shared before. I make a list pretty much every night before I go to bed of what I want to do the next day. So I
Mm-hmm.
keep my appointment books because it's almost like the story of my life, So I
Mm-hmm.
keep so I can see where I've been, what I accomplished. Because sometimes seeing these things is important. And Reverend Pastor P, you had me up until reading the book
I
because I'm like
promise you that's what I do.
I probably need to do that because there are lots of books that I want to read that I never get
Yep,
to. I never get to. So
that's
Mm-hmm.
it.
I think it's a good idea now to sort of look at those. If we have a list, reevaluate those lists and see where we are and what we need to
Mm-hmm.
do to maybe change direction a little bit. And
Mhm,
then and I'll say this: I set these goals for myself that are like really big.
mhm,
Sometimes I make them, sometimes I don't,
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
And so this is probably the time to shift and say, okay, I won't make this one, but I can make this one. So just reevaluate where you are and not feel like a failure when you haven't met a goal you're
Right,
working
when you miss
toward.
it, because I don't
When
know, even with those 10 pages a day, I don't always get there.
nope,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
nope, 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 nope.
What
So
about you, Dr. Hudson? Anything else want to add to
Well,
that?
yeah, it's interesting. I think I shared before that without church, I always like to, and even personally in my life, I like to look at September as the second new year.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
Because when the first new year comes in, everybody's excited, enthusiastic. This is going to be my year, blah, blah, blah. All the things you expect to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, as you go through the first 6 months, by the time you get past the first quarter, you start to really understand, are you really into what you say you're going to do? Have you really evaluated how it's working? Are you ready to pursue or make changes or unfortunately just quit it?
Yeah.
But if you can get to September,
Mm-hmm.
September is for me, that refresher month. I was thinking about that and I said, well, Lord, let me look at the word reset from a biblical perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to look at the word reset from a biblical perspective, we really have to look at the word reestablish.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously reestablish, the root word the prefix do over. Establish is basically saying to grow, to multiply,
Mm-hmm.
to be strong.
Mm-hmm.
It should
mm,
be right back to Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, when the Lord just simply told them and said, and God said, do I have it? Oh, yeah. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth, subdue it. So, in other words, God is telling us constantly all year long through ups and downs, ins and outs, times we want to, times we don't want to, be.
Mm-hmm.
mm,
That's the key word, be. He says, don't do it, be it.
Mm-hmm.
mm.
And as long as I'm doing it, I can put it aside. But when I start to be it, I have no choice but to
Mm-hmm.
pursue it. Now nobody's going to be like Pastor Val, and not too many, but you write down, you know,
I have to. That works for
how
me.
many, how many words she's going to read in a book in an hour. And things like
That's right. That's right. Don't knock it
that.
till you try it.
But you have, but I mean, but you're planning, and the thing is, I think I've shared before. I stopped making things to do lists. I now
Mhm,
make things to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm,
Mm-hmm.
I'm no longer busy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
mhm,
focusing on being productive. So
Mm-hmm.
those kind of help me in my reset areas. As review where I'm at now and where we need to go.
Amen to that. And I see. Go ahead. Someone.
Yeah, I was going to add that. I mean, the thing about the list is sometimes we look. I had to make this adjustment myself. We look at the list of, like you said, Dr. Hudson, things to do. But there are things that it gives us an opportunity to see what we've accomplished, because I think we get so busy in our lives that we're doing more than what we think.
Yep.
And when we list things down, wow, I did a lot today. So some of it is just, the list becomes almost affirmation of that you are functioning and moving in the direction that you want to move, or doing the things that you want to do. May not be as fast, but you are accomplishing things as you go along.
Absolutely.
And Reverend T, I was going to say, sometimes I think for me, I have too many things on the list and it's not realistic.
Yeah.
But then I think when I have the list, when unpredictable things happen, I have something to fall back on. So I'm not scrambling. And it's all about saving time and trying to get back on track, because life will happen and you get off track naturally. But I think when you don't have a system, you kind of like frazzled.
Yep.
I agree with Pastor Write Down. As she write down all her stuff. I agree with from that standpoint that you said that you have too much, you put too many things on. And I think about it in this aspect for me, when I have too many things on my things to accomplish list, it means I really haven't defined what I want to do. I kind of put a lot of stuff down just so I can, somewhere in that hodgepodge, I can get one of them or two of them out. But I'm finding now, and it was hard for me to get 3 things in a day that I want to accomplish. And starting with the hardest one first. You know what I'm saying? And that might take most of the day, but it shapes things. But that was a struggle. And I still am working on that, but I'm starting now to see results. Didn't get it right away. So if anybody, right now you're not kind of satisfied where you are, or you're not really sure going forward, that's something. First of all, what is your end game? What is your plan? What is your goal? Is it still the same as when you had it back at the beginning of the year? It doesn't hurt to go back and reset your evaluation.
Yeah. And one of the things I usually tell some of my clients too is, don't be so much outcome oriented, but be progress oriented. And think about the process more than the outcome. Because it's not that you don't need to write the vision and make it plain and write those things down. Like, cast your vision, write it down, your big goals, but then take a little step back at that and think about the progress that you need to make in the process to get there. So before you go trying to focus on the outcome, think about, before I set out to do, like the Bible says, count the cost, right? So before I go out to do this big, huge thing, what is the process and the things? Because some of us have big goals, right? Like, I want to open up a business. I want to do such and such and such and such. But then before we even tackle that, like, you got to get over your insecurities first. You haven't even tackled that. You have to build your confidence. You have to work through, past history of stuff that has you feeling more timid and frightened of failure. So before you go out and put yourself on the line for a big letdown, let's tackle the things that are most pressing, because we can have these huge things that we want to accomplish, but we need to sometimes pause and say, before I do that, I need to get the credit score up. I need to have some meetings. I need to reorganize. I need to declutter. I have to go back and fix some things that I didn't fix from the previous time I tried this. And, whatever the goal is, like, who do you need to have conversations with? What do you need to fix? What types of situations need to be in place before you go do that? But if you focus on tackling one thing at a time, it helps you get to the outcome.
Right.
And I think it'd be important that we don't micromanage ourselves. Because when we start to micromanage, and I think it goes back to the list and so forth, and I laugh because, when my kids were small, my husband would say, okay, what you do today? I would run out. Oh, I had to change a diaper. I had to take one side of the tape off, then the other side of the tape off, then do this. It was like 39 steps. Oh, you changed the diaper.
Right. Right.
So we don't want to micromanage our lives that way. Sometimes we can put so many little steps and we go, God, I'll never get it done. But sometimes we can group them together. Okay, I am moving. I am moving forward. So I just want to say we don't want to micromanage ourselves too much.
Absolutely.
Reverend T, you said something before. I'll say it real quick. You said something that just grabbed me a minute ago. You said when you have to ask yourself, do I have the tools or what it takes to even pursue the goal?
Mm-hmm.
And it just made, and that helped me right there and then, because sometimes I know in my case, I'll have the goal and then subconsciously try to get the tools. But you know what I'm saying? So therefore it doesn't become clear. So that was an excellent point you made.
Yeah.
It's easy. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think we have to reward ourselves too.
Yes.
Yes. Even if you got 3 things done off the list, instead of being so hard, or I didn't get all 5, reward yourself for the 3 that you did get done.
Yeah.
I don't think we do that enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was need a paddle, right? Like we need to
Dr. Hudson raised a point in the first part of his discussion of how do you know it's time to give up on a goal? How do you know it's time to, okay, this is not going to happen? It's not, and that's a hard thing to decide. I don't have the answer. I don't. So I guess I would pose that to the group. How do you know when it's time to just, okay, you know what, this is just not the direction that I need to go into this point? Because I think that dichotomy, that struggle often keeps people trapped in an unhealthy direction.
For sure. Just because something is ending too, or maybe something's not working out, does not mean an ending. Sometimes it's the beginning of something new. It helps us to reset. It helps us to think creatively, and it teaches us problem solving skills. So, we might have to pivot, and one thing didn't work. What they call in the business, killing your darlings, right? So like something that you're married to, that you're so gung-ho on this happening, and then when it's not working out, sometimes we have to ask God to redirect us and our emotions that's attached to the previous thing that wasn't working too, and so that we can close that chapter and continue to move on. Yes, it's scary. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, there's a lot of uncertainty, in the unknown can be very scary, but we have to be able to get past that to be successful, like to take that for what it is, accept that that's how we are feeling, and work through that in order to keep going forward. That's my spiel on it. But there's a if anybody wants to comment, but there's a question on here that I wanted to get to as well from Bunny.
Well, quickly, just on that point, defining, when to give up or how to give up. I think you have to go back to your why you did it in the first place.
Right. That's what I was going to say.
Your why didn't you say it?
And if it was something that was God's will for your life, because sometimes we can have aspiration but no inspiration.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So I don't always think that if it's not
Like
all
that
coming
one.
together, if it's not all, thank you. Send a cash. No, I'm kidding. But I don't think that if it's all not coming together, it means it's not the will of God. But if nothing's going right all the time, I think that goes back to counting the cost. Okay, God, this is what I see for my life, but what do you say? Because if I could be a singer right now, and I would, but God said, you not going to sing.
You sing it out, church.
It ain't no sense of me going to take singing lessons, because this is just not God's will for my life.
You came to New York and sang.
That was worship.
I got the video.
That was worship. She was in a flow. Point taken and well said. Right. That's something that sometimes you just gotta listen to the Lord if He's redirecting us and audit. Bishop always says that the will greater than God's is our own, and sometimes we can be so stuck on our own will and what we want to do that we miss that God never told us to go in that direction in the first place.
He didn't have like, I ain't tell you to do that. No, like my niece says, he'd be like, who said that? Who said that?
Like, I didn't say it.
I didn't say that. You ain't hear that from me.
No. Let me go up a little bit to
there you go.
Bunny. Yes, said, I've been suffering from fear and anxiety for 22 years. I was born and raised in the church. I pray constantly, but the more I pray, the more fear tried to consume me. I need answers on how to grow more. Fear is tricky, right? So I think when there's you ever had that feeling like when you're approaching something you're already afraid of, it makes you even you are waiting for the fear to go away, and that intensifies your anxiety more. It's almost like it's just a part. Fear is going to be there. One of the things that, when I would have to get in front of church sometimes and pray when I first started, I was young, and I mean I would be shaking like a leaf. And Pastor Nick said to me one time, when the lights are on, it's time to shine. He would look me dead in the eye like, calm down, calm down. And I'm like with the microphone, like he like, calm down. When the lights are on, it's time. He's like, the only way to get past fear is to break through it. And there are some things that we need to address that's constantly creating the fear and the anxiety. If it's a 22-year issue, that's something that you probably should talk to a therapist about. That's something you should talk to your pastor about or your support system, because there could be something deeply, a deep-seated other concern there that needs to be addressed. And anxiety, I don't want to touch on it here because anxiety could also be physical manifestations. So, those are things you don't want to just give someone an answer to without checking in and figure out other things that are going on. So if it's been a long-standing issue, I would always suggest maybe outside of here, if you want to reach out to Pathway Counseling or Bishop Evans, talk to us and give us some more information outside of this setting. So maybe we can give you some more direct answers to help with that. Okay. Because we're available to help with that. Okay.
Yeah. She said she's been in therapy for like 10 years now.
Yeah. And sometimes we need to change.
Yeah, I was going to say that sometimes
or something else added to your therapy. So give us some more information on that. We could probably help and talk to Bishop too.
Yeah, he can get great insight as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're touching on a lot here, and we're almost running out of time. So
I know, right? It goes quick.
One of the things that as I'm thinking about my own like mid-year is we always talk about things that we're accomplishing or goals, but one of my biggest goals this year was rest. And trying to find time to not do anything. A lot of times we hustle so much, but I did not realize how much I needed to set aside time in the schedule just to like stop. And so I was working 6 days a week for the past couple years since COVID, and it was like pause, and I think over the past couple weeks I said, you know what, July, August, no Saturday appointments. Those days are for my kids.
Right.
I want to take them out on Saturday. I want to spend time with them. And it was so necessary. I did not realize how helpful it was just to put a pause in. And that's a part of self-care and goals that we need to have for ourselves too sometimes is pay attention to your body and make sure that you're carving out time for family, and don't be so outcome driven all the time that you don't have fun and enjoy life. What's the point of doing all those things if you're miserable?
You can't enjoy it. Right. Yep. When little things start getting on my nerve, like the light's still red. It's time to reset this light.
And you realize you're parked at a stop sign.
Right. It's like, okay, now you need to go sit down somewhere.
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
With that rest time, you're right, man. And then let me tell you something. I'm the guiltiest one here, probably with that. But I think the thing too, and I think we touched on it before. A big part of getting rest is getting off this media stuff. Shut the screen down. Shut the phone down. The greatest addiction in the world right now, I believe, is phone addiction. Because I mean, be around people.
Yeah.
Right.
They'll be talking to you, and that buzz of flash, they feel they got to pick it up.
Yeah.
I shared
we
this
all
week.
do.
I was sharing this week. The NFL about 4 years ago, the National Football League, in their contract for the players, they put in for the first time ever, the players must be given in their training camp a half-hour break to check their phones.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
These people making $21-35 million a year, but they need 30 minutes. That's an addiction.
That is.
Yeah, it is. And look at how many of us, as soon as we wake up, the first thing we do is grab our phones.
Yep.
Yep. Don't say thank you, Lord. Just grab the phone.
I mean, I'm guilty. I've had to catch myself. Don't you dare.
Yeah.
You know, don't you dare grab that phone as soon as you wake up. But
I have like there's a game on my phone, and I wake up in the morning and be like,
nope.
You better not. Like, you better talk to the Lord first, and
like I'm gonna punch you in the face.
You better
Reverend T, that's a big phone you got.
Devotional first.
Yeah,
that's a big phone you got, Reverend T.
Because it's easy to like get your mind cluttered with other things going on, and then we lose sight of the things that are important. And those are a lot of that is the reason why we get halfway through the year and we realize we haven't done much is because we have been so distracted. Like we start off with so much momentum, and then we get caught in the day to day without setting a schedule, like Pastor said, without setting goals that are measurable, without making sure that we're process instead of outcome oriented. We have all those things that are not in place, and then we're like
tired.
It's July, you know,
July already. Yep.
You're like, oh my gosh, I didn't lose the weight I wanted to lose. You know, I still haven't started my business plan, but that's okay. I mean, your year doesn't have to start in January. If you haven't really tackled anything yet that you wanted to, or you're still struggling with that, your new year can start at any time.
That's right.
Start.
There's still 5 months left.
Yep. And if today starts your new year, then start today. Set the plan, set the schedule. Avoid the distractions, set some new priorities so that you can move forward. We have to.
And I'll add one, and then it's okay to put boundaries around yourself and your time. Sometimes.
And Tika and Labu, like you said, if nothing else, everybody tonight can schedule their day tomorrow.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know? So that we can all start like right now. What do I want to do tomorrow?
Absolutely.
Set boundaries. That's my favorite word right now. Set some boundaries.
Boom.
Set it up.
Right? Like,
but it's set it with ourselves. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, you have to. I mean,
I find that sometimes busy people feel guilty resting. Like, think about how crazy that sounds.
I know. That's what I'm learning.
I used to be there. Think about how crazy it sounds. I feel guilty sitting on a sofa watching TV. What are we doing?
No, that's boundaries. Boundaries, and it's okay to do that.
Yeah, set boundaries.
Yep.
I think Christians wrestle with that more because we have this sense that if we're not totally available, then we're not really being a good Christian.
Yeah.
That means, okay, if you need me. I mean, certain emergencies forever, but just people, if you let people, they will call you at 11 o'clock.
Oh,
sometimes you got to say tomorrow.
Yeah.
Then they'll call you at 1 o'clock.
Yeah. Well, Jesus went to sleep and took a nap. He
was
asleep on the boat, wasn't he? So,
in the storm. Look, in the storm.
Jesus said, I'm on a cruise. I'm chilling.
Like, you're on your own. I'm good.
Yep. He took a nap on the boat. Absolutely. Boundaries.
Reverend Hodge said this to us when we were teens and we were growing up in evangelism team, that I share with my clients sometimes because it was such a powerful statement that she made about what we're just talking about. And she says, you think you're that important? Die. And I was like, we were all sitting in class.
I love that.
She said, let me tell you something. If you don't take care of yourself and something happens to you, people will figure out what to do without you here.
I love that.
How to take care of yourself.
She's a nice lady.
Put up some boundaries. Put some boundaries up, because if you think that you are that significant that people won't be able to function without you there, die and see how fast people will pick up and figure it out. And I was like, dang, it was so true.
And forget your name.
And forget that you were there.
She was a nice girl next.
That nice lady. I forgot her name.
Like, what's her name again?
She did good. We gonna miss her. who else can come in here and help us now that she's no longer here? And they will figure it out. And it was so true.
Yeah.
You think you're that important guy. Wow.
The pastor before me was there 29 years. And if his name is kept alive, it's because I bring it up.
Yeah.
And people have been here longer than I have. So, you know.
People move on.
Yeah.
And
they
we have
do.
to take care of ourselves. And it taught me a valuable lesson that I hold on to till today is take care of yourself.
Yeah.
You know, set some boundaries, practice good self-care. I think we need to do something on fear and anxiety. I see that keeps coming up. So I think maybe next time that may be something that we can talk about.
That'd be good.
You know,
we should do one of these shows from the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that works. Field trip.
We're going to do our next SoundMind Panel from the Bahamas.
Right.
I'm in.
We're going to be there.
All right, everybody. I think we're out of time.
We're
out of time. So thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you found what we were talking about helpful. Take some time to do a reset. And I'm going to ask the panel if you have any final thoughts that you want to just push out there for everyone to walk away with.
That if you think you're that important, die. That's the benediction.
That's
right
it
there.
right there. Done.
You know, take care of yourself. Okay.
Yep. It's only
Just don't die twice.
Yeah. Take care of yourselves, everybody. We hope that you found this helpful. Go take some time to write a schedule out. Start tonight if you need to. Set some plans for yourself. Show some appreciation for yourself for the things you've already done, and just keep moving forward. And we'll see y'all next time.
Yes, ma'am.
Read a book, count the pages.
Count them pages. That's right. Write up that book. It'll bless your life.
Bye, everybody.